Hello, my little blueberries. Welcome back to Transformation Realness, the only show all about people who are doing their best to make the world of work less shitty and have the guts to share their stories. The good, the bad, and most of all, the real. This podcast is produced in partnership with RepCap and hosted by yours truly, the ever-charming and razor-sharp guide to the world of workplace transformation, Kyle Lagunas, head of strategy and principal analyst at Aptitude Research, the leading boutique research firm in HR tech and transformation. Get into it. Today's episode marks the final installment of Built on Workday, the birth of a new HR tech ecosystem. And I hope you've enjoyed things so far because the conversation is bussin'. Get it? So bad, but I actually don't hate it. We're diving into a conversation today that combines the power of conversational AI with the boldness of next-gen partnerships. I'm sitting down with personal friend Adam Godson, CEO of Paradox, and new BFF Andrew McMannis, who leads their Workday practice. And we're talking about how their tools are revolutionizing talent acquisition. We're unpacking why conversational AI isn't just a buzzword, it's a game changer for high-volume hiring, interview scheduling, and delivering seamless, invisible software experiences that work wherever you are. Plus, we're digging into how the Workday partner ecosystem is enabling this innovation at scale. Spoiler alert, it's not just about keeping up, it's about transforming how work gets done. Let's get into it. Hello, my little blueberries. Welcome back to an extremely special episode of Transformation Realness. I'm coming to you live from a bus. Yes, actually a full bus that has a state-of-the-art podcasting studio in it. It's provided by Workday, and I'm literally gooped and gagged. This is kind of crazy. I'm sitting with two illustrious gentlemen in our industry, one who I call a deep and personal friend, and another who I have met and I'm following head over heels for.
Okay.
I hope you don't mind me.
It's all right. No,
There's just a lot of love in this industry.
A lot of
love. Boys, would you please introduce yourselves?
Absolutely. Kyle, thanks very much for having us. I'm Adam Godson. I'm the CEO of Paradox. Great to be with you.
Heard of it.
Yeah. And I'm Andrew McMannis, so I lead our Workday practice at Paradox. So.
Okay, cool. Well, so I invited you guys to come and talk to me today, A, because I love you, but B, because here we are on the Workday bus. Adam, you and I have been in the HR tech space for a long time. Andrew, you have as well. And you know that a lot of these like major HCMs for a long time, I mean, they were extremely protective of their install base. They were extremely protective of their product. And Workday itself has always been very intentional, but I think also very cautiously engaging the ecosystem. Well, now under Carl's new leadership, the partnership program has really taken off. You guys were an early partner. Mm-hmm. And I really want to talk about for those that don't know what Paradox is doing, but also like haven't checked in with Paradox in a minute because you're blowing my mind with everything you're doing. I want to talk about who you guys are and what you do. And then I do want to come over and talk about like, all right, well, what are we uniquely getting for Workday customers that are, have this engagement built on Workday?
I love that. So Paradox is conversational AI for talent acquisition. And that is especially for now. That is a specialization in often high volume recruitment. And so, people that are high velocity roles that oftentimes work for a wage for a living and work on their feet, restaurants, retailers, people like that. And through SMS, through messaging, through conversational AI, having an extremely fast process, both standalone and on top of Workday, and bringing new life and ease for the candidates and results to those systems. We also do a tremendous amount of interview scheduling. And so for clients around the world, that's another core product for us is to schedule all the complex interviews. So being able to give those recruiters an assistant that can do that administrative work. And the paradox for which we're named is that by buying software, you get to spend more time with people and not software.
What?
Yeah, right? That's how it works. That
sounds absolutely transformational.
It is. But, for us, like that's one of the very concrete ways. Like one of the questions I get asked a lot is, oh my gosh, AI is blowing my mind. Like it's so confusing. Like where do I start?
Yeah.
And my easy answer is interview scheduling.
Yeah.
So it's one of those concrete things where conversational AI is the right tool to be able to, text a candidate and then be able to answer their questions as they get the reminder text, being able to look at calendars, do the calendar Tetris in that, reschedule it. We'll schedule about 20 to 25 million interviews this year for clients around the world. And so those patterns are well worn, but it's just an easy, high ROI first use case of where to start with AI.
Stay humble, fam. Call me when you get to 1 billion. Okay. All right.
Done.
Yeah, let's go
Speed
for
dial.
shoot for the moon, baby. No, that's super exciting. And honestly, you and I have known each other for a long time, and you've been playing with tools in the talent space for a long while. Your past role at Cielo, and also. I mean, you are being humble. You named 2 products that you're known for. I came to your cab event in the spring, and I could not believe how much product has been built. Yeah. And I know that no man is an island. You haven't done this all yourself, like
Tremendous
overnight,
team.
Right? You have a family, wife, and kids that like to see you. But I mean, literally, Paradox has rapidly accelerated its innovation strategy. I mean, you have built a ton of new applications and features. And I think it's super cool. You have, these core businesses that where you are delivering consistent value, freeing up those like recruiting teams, but also hiring managers and interviewers, like making this really like low friction, high touch for them. Empowering, enabling you to go and also do some other really cool stuff. Right?
Yeah, which and for us, it was in some ways an early moment. Like it was in 2016, we saw conversational AI as was going to be the new UI, and that was going to be a transformational technology. And stuff was kind of clunky then. You'd call it a chatbot. Yeah. And sometimes it wasn't glorious.
IBM Talent Watson.
Right, was going to change the world, right?
Yeah.
But staying true to the vision, and then the technology coming along, right? And now people
and your customers pulling you into more and more
absolutely.
problems.
And in those days when we said we want to make invisible software, people looked at you like you had 2 heads. Like, why the hell would you do that?
I know.
And now people are like, it's very clear. Like chat interfaces and voice interfaces, like conversation is the new UI, even in the enterprise. And we're lucky enough to have built and architected a system that began with that. So we've got a nice head start to think about how we can make all the different applications. And then listening to our clients, one of the things about us is extreme client centricity. Yeah. And so understanding what challenges they face and what new problems we can solve, staying true to that core value around solving client challenges with conversational AI.
Well, I love to hear it. I mean, I've actually experienced it. I've been a customer of yours. I've been a partner of yours. And now I'm just a big fan. You make it hard to be industry agnostic, but I still am industry agnostic,
you are,
believe it or not.
Yes.
And by the way, Paradox is not paying me to do this interview right now.
That's true.
Yes.
We are.
Yes.
Thank you, Kyle.
Thanks
you
for having us. Yeah.
Andrew, I want to come over to you because like you have been an ecosystem guy for a long time, right?
Yeah.
This has been a part of your function. Do you have any point of view on Paradox has been innovating and delivering new features and functionality within its own world of applications, but you're also known for being able to work with pretty much any ATS and HCM out there. Like, have you seen this kind of thing before? How does this help you in your job?
Yeah, so I've been in the partnership ecosystem in Workday specifically for the past 8 years, but I was also supporting other partners. So I actually came from ADP. So I was at ADP for 10 years.
How do you spell that?
ADP. And that's where really it was ADP partners with everybody. They partner with SAP, they partner with Oracle, they partner with Infor, Lawson and kind of Microsoft, Sage, et cetera. So really having that kind of industry agnostic and system agnostic is really kind of from a partner strategy perspective, really allowed us to continue to grow and innovate. Yeah. And really being able to lean in very closely with Workday. I mean, me being in the Workday ecosystem for 8 years, if you would have told me what Workday is doing to change their partner ecosystem, I would have given you kind of like a chuckle at that time. Yeah. And as we fast forward where we are now, seeing Carl get up on stage at the keynote and Rising, talking about
We're
their
very
investment.
Good personal friends, by the way.
Hey, he's got a very easy
Hey, Carly.
email.
Hi, Carl.
He's got a very easy email. It's just carl@workday.com. So, hey.
I already knew that.
Yeah.
I didn't.
So
but you know what I mean? Like this is, I don't know if people realize how big
Step
of a,
change,
this is a big change, right? And I do see it as a different kind of market leadership. Mm-hmm. It's not just
And like I see partner ecosystems as a reflection of client centricity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Of not having the sometimes ego or self-interest to say we're going to build everything even if it's substandard, or we're going to box others out that have better products.
Yeah.
And for me, like there have been
Or we're going to build it just to get more wallet share.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
And there have been times in my career people have said, are you really going to integrate with someone that might see them as a competitor?
Yeah.
I'm like, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because it's the client-centric thing to do.
Yeah.
Like I can't imagine going to a client and saying like, oh, I'm not going to help you solve your business problem because of I have a rivalry with that person.
Yeah.
Like that's just not the client. So I think it's, for Workday especially, reflective of we can't build everything. We are a platform now. We're bigger now. And to say we're going to do right by our clients by creating an ecosystem that is built on trust and built on the right kind of partners that they want in that ecosystem for their clients.
Yeah. I mean, I feel very strongly about who's going to stay in the market. And I feel like it's been really rough out there. I mean, sure, you guys have even seen a little bit of impact as the markets constrict, but like I do feel passionately as an industry analyst watching all these players, and there's a lot of noise out there, a lot of good ideas, people struggling to deliver, to stay on the board. The ones that are winning are customer obsessed. Like nothing matters more than bringing value to our customers. And it's not just like a little talk track. It is a core part of the ethos. And honestly, Adam, like I want to pat ourselves on the back. I feel like the new generation of leadership in the space, we are lower ego about these things. Like we're like, because we've struggled with it. Like when you were at Cielo, you guys were RPO. You were working with literally every single product under the sun, right? And you also had built a proprietary operating layer. We're like, look, I'm not going to sell this software and displace you ATS that's already existing in my client account. Like this is my operating layer. I need it to work. But you know what I mean? Like what is this? The like cultural paradigm is shifting. Right.
I would agree with that.
It needs to. It needs to.
It does. There's that. It's a client-centric environment, and I would argue, I don't really know any other way to be.
I know. That's why we're friends.
In that way, like to think about the client first, and and I see that reflected in some other folks in the industry as well, and I think it's how the industry continues to innovate and continues to, and those are the folks that are going to be here for the next generation too.
Yeah. Well, I think the other thing that is driving leadership in the market, this is probably the fourth conversation I've had, and this is the second day of HR Tech, where the concept of interface agnostic technology is really coming up. And I mean, so as an industry analyst, I've been sitting there a lot of briefings, a lot of analyst days, for the last 10 years. UI and UX were always big things oh, how user friendly is it? Oh, there's got a really fresh user interface. We were obsessed with trying to get everybody into our application. Logging in to our application and using it. Like when I was running a CRM program at General Motors, I was running reports on how many people were logging into my CRM. I'm like, all right, well, not a lot are, you know?
Right.
But then I shifted the story and said, how many were utilizing this program, right? And so I really want to hear, this is an early philosophy for you guys, but I mean, I think you were ahead of the market here. What are you seeing in this current environment of just I don't care if you log in, you're going to use me. We're going to enable you wherever you are.
It's an interesting philosophical change for many people. You mentioned some of that. My product managers, that a traditional way to measure your success is product utilization. And we actually bend that backwards to say, I actually don't want people to spend time in my product. I want Olivia, our persona, to help get work done. And so I want to measure the work that gets done and the time that you aren't logging into the system. So we actually measure that as a negative when people have to spend time clicking in systems. And yes, we've got a nice UI, but it is
just can't.
It is also the interoperability of systems through integrations. I'll give you an example in Workday. We want folks to be in Workday in the flow of work, and we schedule the millions of interviews. It's through that workflow. They simply operate in Workday and say, Olivia, go schedule the interview. Olivia gets the information, and that's the only thing that they do. Olivia does the work and tells you when it's done. And that in the flow of work.
She's a gem.
Right.
I love Olivia.
Getting work done is what it's all about.
Yeah. I mean, I do really like that. I mean, especially if we keep this tied to the customer centric approach, your customers don't care, babe. They really do not need to log into your app and then go and log into this one.
Well, they're confused. They want to spend their time in one place. They
just want to get good work done.
And all of us, in some ways, we all overdid it in 2021 when the pressure was on. Everyone bought tools, didn't think about the experience, and recruiters are like, well, I have 7 tabs open all day long, flipping between them. And so that experience is really important.
Well, I'll tell you what. So I sat in a session yesterday with 2 of your customers, Compass Group and Marriott. And would you believe those 2 TA leaders,
they weren't talking about the chat interface. You know, they weren't talking about like logging into this. They were talking about like their business impact. It was, it's my show, I can say this. It was fucking cool. Like, honestly, as a former practitioner, to be up there and like, they know their shit, you know, and like front to back. And I can't help but think that like a big part of that is like, I just have things that work. Right. Like, so I am actually focused on the things that only I can do, which is run my TA team like to like as efficiently and effectively as possible.
Yeah.
You know, and like I was texting Jay-Z, your all's head of marketing, and I was like, Josh, this is like a dream. Like, this is what you want as your clients out there saying this. And I actually don't even think that both of them were Workday clients, customers. You're delivering this value everywhere.
Yeah. And just the ability to like get the results and then have our clients tell those stories is amazing. I think what's one of the takeaways from COVID is that, especially in the frontline workforce, there's so much deeper connection to the business.
Okay.
We were all at restaurants where you couldn't, there was tables hanging around, but no staff, and places were closed. And so companies really internalized that frontline workers drive business value. Yeah. And so
essential workers.
They really have. One of our clients, for example, hires plumbers, electricians, those types of folks, and they use Paradox to do that. In the first year, they drove $30 million more in revenue. Based on being fully staffed with plumbers, electricians, and skilled workers. And that was one of the first times where you heard TA drive revenue, not cost savings, not some BS time to
cost avoidance,
hire or whatever, like a candidate experience stat.
Moving our own little precious KPIs.
But like they drove revenue. And you know, I think you hear lots of folks driving cost savings and driving speed to business value. I think our progressive leaders in this space have turned the corner, and COVID helped them accelerate that to being great business people, not great talent acquisition.
Oh, it's badass. I was literally took a picture. I was like, look at these baddies on stage. All right. Well, let's come over to Workday. Because honestly, again, this is a really big moment. We are in the bus. But yeah, I do want to talk about what is unique. Like we've talked about, you can bring a lot of value to a lot of different players, but what is unique here for a Workday customer if they think, all right, well, there's a lot of conversational AI features and players out there. Why, with Paradox saying that we are a partner, why does that matter to me? What am I going to get out of that?
Yeah, so I mean, it's really, what we've kind of talked about already is keeping the user in one system. So when we think about product strategy and integration strategies, we work with Workday, we centralize it around the user, so the recruiter, the hiring manager, that team, living and spending 100% of their time inside of Workday. Well, I'll say about 99% of their time inside of Workday.
They have to sleep,
They do, yeah. So 99% of their working day. And in that 1% where there isn't something available inside of Workday, we make it easy for that user to access the Paradox system in kind of a very picture-in-picture environment. So they're not toggling between screens. They're not having the 7-tab problem that you were talking about, Adam. So it's really kind of keeping that recruiter centralized in there and also living off of the Workday data model. So one of the things that's uniquely different about Paradox is we recognize we're never going to replace your system. We want to be tech agnostic. We want to be that communication layer over top of your system of record, driving automation, focusing on real business goals and objectives, but deeply integrating with your system and not making you build two different system of records because I think we've all been in the space for a long time. Everybody went out and bought a CRM. They bought these different tools. They get out of sync of your system of record very quickly.
Oh, very quickly.
And that's where we look and living and keeping that single data model inside of Workday, that you build something once inside of Workday and then we'll drive automation on top of that as candidates progress through the process. So.
Which is, I think, super important for a lot of like the key workflows that you guys support. Like they have to be on the same page. We have to know what this is over here, and it has to look built exactly the same over here in your system. Otherwise, it's going to get friction really quickly. And you're running at scale. Like you guys are running a lot of interactions,
massive scale. Like the real time nature, that's really important. It can't be a batch process. It's especially like with chat. It's got to be.
Imagine if a conversation like was an hour gap.
It's insane, right? But on Workday, like certified integrations are a big deal. To be able to certify those, have the trust of our clients.
How quickly can you turn on a new Workday client?
So we're probably there's some of our
once you've like mapped out, the processes. And
we're at probably about 16 weeks now at this point, and that's been like really leaning into the certified integrations as well as some of the things that Workday is now rolling out to the Workday partners with the built-on program, being able to start to utilize, extend, and orchestrate in different ways. That timeline is just going to get smaller and smaller as those features, functionalities get brought out to the partners.
But what about once you've designed the solution and you're ready to flip the switch to turn it on?
It really is down to down to days and being able to give.
I'm like, no, babe, it's not.
I was like,
I know it's not.
Sorry,
and thinking about enterprise scale and other things, but and that's it takes a lot of work on our practitioner end, mostly to rationalize their own organizations. How do they do the design?
Babe, after being on solution design myself, I know
you know.
It was kind of embarrassing us just like talking back and forth while your precious solutions consultant just sat there and watched us like waffle. You know?
But the actual what's different is then with the certified integrations, the actual build of that is really standardized. And being able to have those well-worn roads to do that again and again takes the mystery out of that. And then for us, the other really important part about our partnership with Workday is working with the product team to understand what's coming, so we can complement to solve client challenges. So we can be great at
and minimize disruption.
And we can be great at things that they don't have to invest and spend time in because we've already been great at that. And it's a great partner strategy that fits into Carl's vision versus other ways that we might bump into each other, and we can talk that out and figure out how we'll work together on things. So it's been really important that way too.
I mean, look, I think it's proving to be a really critical success factor for these partnerships too, is being comfortable with the co-opetition, comfortable with overlap. And I think maybe your experience, Adam, and you were talking about, like, I'm sure you've sold into and delivered into talent applications that might have a conversational, or might have an interview scheduling, or, you know what I mean? There's like there's a lot of product overlap in this space.
Absolutely.
You've got to be comfortable with, like, I'm literally not here to eat your lunch, bro. You know?
Right. And that really just comes down to good communication and then foundational trust.
I mean, how often are you meeting with the team, Andrew? You're the one that's keeping us honest here?
Yeah. I mean, everybody at Paradox probably jokes that I should have a Workday email at this rate, given how often I'm working with the Workday team. So whether it's the product team, as we're talking about, the future, the vision of where Paradox and Workday is going together. They also acquired the small company HiredScore that's in the talent acquisition space that's changing everything.
I was specifically told that wasn't a very big deal of an acquisition. And I would just like to take this moment to say, you're wrong.
100%. And that's where just talking about, like, what is the strategy of Paradox, HiredScore, and Workday in this Workday kind of ecosystem?
Oh, look at all my friends getting along.
Exactly.
It is. And for us, HiredScore is one of our deepest partners.
Absolutely.
Back to 2017 and starting to do early deals. And just a great team. Couldn't be happier for Athena and Jason. And that's the foundation of trust. And we've got mutual clients from years and years ago, and now new mutual clients, and being able to have good communication to create this triangle where we can solve real challenges in a way that gives people confidence, because there are dozens or hundreds of other clients doing it, and
there's clarity, there's stability, there's cooperation, collaboration. These are the things that we need. I don't want to take credit for this, but I do want to say that I think it was 2016, I had a dinner with Brandy Pond at Workday, Athena Karp at HiredScore, and Josh Zwein.
Here we go.
Yeah. All right.
And I was like, we should be friends, you guys. And look at us now.
I know, right?
You're welcome. And you are welcome to sponsor this podcast.
Kyle the Connector. Paradox Bus next year?
100%. Let's do it.
Paradox Bus.
Yeah,
babe,
let's go.
Paradox PJ. Let's fly around, talk about frictionless. Well, what better way to be frictionless than in the air?
That is true. Having a podcast.
All right. Well, thanks for yucking it up with me a little bit, but also for sharing with me. Like, honestly, I hope that people can hear how passionate we are about this. Like, I love solving these problems, especially when we have people like you out there that are helping us solve them too.
Oh, thank you so much. It was a great conversation. We love talking to you about it.
Thanks. Yeah. And we let Andrew jump in every once in a while.
Hey, of course. It's all good. I'm here for my part.
He was here to laugh at our jokes.
That was true. That's true. Well, thanks for having us in the bus.
I know. All right. Well, I've got to go, guys. I think I've got some lunch to eat.
I have a question for you.
Oh, go ahead.
Does this bus ever go in reverse, or is it forever forward?
I gotta go, babe. We're gonna edit that out. D, cut the mics, please. That's a wrap. Literally. Cut the tapes. I'm out of here.
And that is a wrap. Not just on this episode of Transformation Realness, but on our entire Built on Workday miniseries. And I have to say, it has been an absolute ride, literally and figuratively. If you want to see me in all my bus-bound glory, and of course you do, make sure you like and subscribe to the Transformation Realness YouTube page for the full experience. A massive thank you to Adam and Andrew from the Paradox team for rounding out this series with such an insightful and forward-thinking conversation. Here's what I'm walking away with. Conversational AI isn't just about being flashy or trendy. It's about making a real impact. Whether it's scheduling millions of interviews effortlessly or giving your frontline teams the tools they need to succeed, the future of talent is about creating experiences that feel frictionless and intuitive for everyone. This series has proven that partnerships are the new power play. Across all these episodes, from Hired Score's AI talent orchestration to Lightcast's skills-based transformation, Good Times reinvention of interviews, and now Paradox's conversational AI magic, one thing is crystal clear. Workday's open ecosystem approach is enabling innovations that go way beyond just incremental improvements. It's about transforming how work gets done. And here's the big takeaway from the series for me. Success in HR and talent tech isn't about going it alone anymore. The future is collaborative. It's about ecosystems, partnerships, and trust between vendors, platforms, and the organizations they serve together. And Workday's commitment to empowering partners and customers at the same time is setting a new standard for what's possible in our industry. I also want to give a huge shout out to you, my fearless listeners, for joining me on this wild ride on the Built on Workday series. I hope these conversations sparked new ideas, new questions, and maybe even a little inspiration to rethink what's possible in your own organizations. Don't worry, this isn't goodbye forever. Transformation Realness isn't going anywhere, and I'll be back soon with more stories, bold conversations, and sharp insights about the people, platforms, and ideas that are shaping the future of work. Until then, stay curious, stay gutsy, and above all, stay real, my little blueberries. I'll catch you next time on Transformation Realness. Bye.